Hey Taurus, this is Wishko the Ferret. Thanks for hopping into the Ferret Den where we're keeping things warm, we're keeping things cozy, and today we have a reading for you from March 20th to the 26th. A few more things before we get into it. So I have a Patreon launching late March, early April, so if you like my stuff and if you think I'm cool, go ahead, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, blah, blah, blah. That way you can keep in touch with what's happening with the Patreon and also not miss content from me. I like doing weeklies for the zodiac signs. Sometimes I'll swap them out to do pick-a cards or collective readings, or just whatever videos I feel inspired to do. Right now it's zodiac signs, so yeah, stay tuned if you like that stuff. Second thing is, for this week coming up, we have an Aries new moon on March 21st. Depending on, the time's going to be different depending on where you're at in the world. It coincides with the spring equinox. So definitely, if you're into astrology and you want to capitalize on these new, fresh manifestation, awesome, powerful energies, go check out your favorite astrologer, either on, I don't know, YouTube or podcast or whatever it is that you listen or vibe with. So that way you can make the best use of this timing, because that's pretty awesome that just everything is just, I don't know, it's just like a double energy of fresh start. So I mean, I will be doing all of my witchy stuff around that time, so definitely be aware of that. So before we get into tarot, I do want to say, well, I should say my prayer first, and then because I wrote it down. So I did pre-shuffle some oracle cards for you before I started the camera here. So we'll be working with tarot, and we'll be working with the spirit animal deck as well as a Moonology deck. We're going to be looking at current energies, challenges, and what's going to make your life easier or the way forward, as always. So drop into your heart space. Let the dust physically, spiritually, and emotionally settle around and within you so that you can determine which messages are for you, which messages are for others. You should not be leaving my readings feeling sad, down, or depressed, because if that's the case, then you're not using my readings correctly. The intention for me is to uplift, to empower, to guide, and to connect you with your intuition so that the stuff that you're hearing shouldn't be new. It should be things that you already know. It should be inspiring hope for the future, which is what I hope and plan to do. So thank you, Archangel Michael, for surrounding us with the protection of light at this time. Thank you for helping keep any negativity away, and thank you for helping clear up negativity from within so that we can get clear channel here for Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Rising, or whoever happens to come across this message and whoever needs to hear it. Thank you, angel team. Thank you, spirit guides, for helping us connect with the energy of Taurus so that we can reach the highest love, light, and the highest truth straight from source, to uplift, to empower. Okay, that's like way too much. I can't take that. Can't take it. Okay, never mind. It's like, well, we're going to come out anyway. So what do we have for our current energies? Thank you. So, as I was shuffling your oracle cards, Spirit came through with a very specific question. Okay, and they asked, what are you after? Now, I wasn't sure what this was pertaining to, and of course the message isn't for me, so I rolled the Astro dice so I can help guide listeners to where they should be applying that question. Because for some of you, you might be relentlessly chasing something, or you might be pursuing something that's not in... like, it's almost like you're not really like 100% connected, or you're not 100% in tune, so it's hard to come to a distinct conclusion as to what exactly it is that you're working so hard for, or what you're moving towards. So Spirit just asked, what are you after? Because it's important to get clear on that before you move forward. When I rolled the Astro dice, you have Saturn, Libra, and the 8th house, and so I feel like some of you, this energy feels almost like you're makeshifting some type of solution, or you're makeshifting something this is like a really gross example. I don't really want to. I'm sorry. If it came to me that way, it's going to happen. They're using an example from my life. And what they're saying is that, so like, somebody in the family had stomach surgery. And what they had to do was sorry, if you're squeamish, you can skip ahead. But they took part of his stomach and then makeshifted the rest of his esophagus. And it was like the best like surgeon like in the nation, from my understanding, like the way that he talked about it, was the best surgeon in the nation that was working on stuff. So I mean, the surgery ended up being a success, and I guess you could do that. But I guess this tissue is similar. But anyway, medical stuff aside, it's almost like makeshifting something. Like, it's not perfect. It's not going to be like whatever solution you're coming up with, or whatever situation you're finding yourself in, you're makeshifting things. But it's almost like you're kind of doing with what you have in the present moment. So whatever this is talking about, Saturn is rebuilding. So Saturn is about coming out of, it's not really coming out of, I guess some of you might have come out of like a rebirthing state where like you're starting anew or you're starting fresh. For some of you, for a lot of you, this is just relating to your discipline. Or something like at the beginning that requires quite the amount of discipline. There's something here about being disciplined and trying to remain balanced and steady throughout it all. And there's something here about makeshifting certain solutions, or makeshifting, like it's almost like, and Spirit is saying some of you are really just slapping solutions on too. Like, I mean, personally, like with my family member, like they did not makeshift that. Like, you know, I mean, that was not a shoddy job. That was very hard and they succeeded. But for me, like Spirit is kind of showing me some type of slapdash method that you're using, and because you're not really connected to your why, or because it's almost like you're kind of doing things half-heartedly, Spirit's kind of wanting you to connect with that purpose, or connect with what exactly is your goal, or what exactly I'm hearing, like what exactly is your Spirit just said, like you're trying to make ends meet. So for some of you, that's for like some of you, because I feel like I'm reading the energy, but I'm also hearing what Spirit is saying, and it's kind of, the messages are kind of coming together. So really, I'm going to like try to apply it like as you see fit. Sorry, it's coming through a little bit kind of messy, but the way that this is manifesting is it's showing up in your 8th house, which is in terms of like, the 8th house rules taboo subjects, things that we keep within, our secrets, the things that we keep hidden from the world. They don't necessarily have to be taboo or secrets, though that is what the house is. It could be also related to your spirituality. So a lot of the undercurrents of life, things under the surface. So some of you might have to take the deep dive into determining what exactly it is that you are after. What is it that you care about? What are your goals? What are you seeking to accomplish? And putting in the direct energy and efforts to achieve that, rather than putting too much energy or too little energy into something because you don't know the cause, or not the cause, you don't know what you're reaching for. So some of you, if you know what you're reaching for, it helps stabilize and balance out the energy a little bit more. So in your current energies, you have the Lovers, and again, like I said, like with this deep dive, with like diving into your why, diving into the undercurrents, that's exactly what the Lovers is about. Some of you, it could be related to a romantic situation, because sometimes the Lovers pops up in regards to a romantic situation. For a lot of others, I'm really getting the fact that this is dealing with your shadow self, because the Lovers is also about like dealing with the reflection of yourself, dealing with basically the shadow side of things and how you are handling it. Because again, it's paired with, not again, I'm sorry, I don't know why I said that. It's being paired, I guess, like the 5 of Wands here is coming stronger with the message of going within, is what I'm trying to say. So that's why this message seems to be reiterated to me, where the Lovers is indicating coming within to yourself and seeing yourself reflected back in this pool. It's like the swan spirit of taking the deep dive. It's in the spirit animal deck. I'm not really sure. I didn't see the oracle card, so I'm not sure what pulled, but they're showing me the image of the swan. It reminds me of the swan, where they're saying like the swan spirit does the deep dive to uncover things that is most important to them, so that it's like there are deep treasures underneath the surface of the water, and you have to find them in order to get clear about what it is that you want. Current energy is also King of Wands. So King of Wands is, along with this kind of inner conflict and inner turmoil to kind of sort through with the Five of Wands, the King is like, so it's almost like you have a presence of royalty about yourself. I don't know if it's the way that you carry yourself or it's the way that you distinguish yourself from others, but there is something very royal about you, Taurus. And I feel like really, like, this is kind of a time of carrying yourself in that fashion despite going through, like, this is kind of Spirit highlighting a strength of yours. Anytime they come up with like a king or a queen, to me, Spirit is always saying, this is the strength, or this is what you have to work with here. If it's in like a current energy of, you know, or if like in life easier, like anything that, when they seem to be in positive positions, then it feels like this is a strength. This is something that is working to your advantage. And I really feel like you have the confidence, you have the passion. It's just a matter of, again, just reconnecting with that why. It's almost like, you have like some kind of adapter, and it was plugged in once upon a time, but then after some working and wear and tear, and after being exposed to the world, and trying to achieve this dream or the next step of your project or whatever the case may be, it's almost like somebody jostled the cord and then it just unclicked. And I mean, it's not, there's just some stuff to work through, some stuff to be dusted away. Spirit's kind of showing me this little like witch with a broom, and they have this ritual. A lot of witches have this ritual of like sweeping out the negativity. They have a specific straw broom that they use for clearing sometimes. That is something, if that's what the magic that you choose to work with. But it's just the symbols. You don't have to be working with that. But they're showing me like sweeping out the icky energy and sweeping out, clearing out the clutter so that you can actually connect with what's important to you, and you can actually see in your environment what's important to you. Some challenges. Right now, doing the work seems to be the challenge. It's because you're not connected with your why, or it's because you're not really sure what your end goal is. And again, Spirit's just saying making ends meet. So maybe you're just making ends meet and that's all you're doing, and Spirit's telling you to dream and wish for more. But it's just really hard to do mundane work at this time because the Eight of Pentacles, like I said, is in your challenging position. You have the Queen of Swords and you have Temperance also in your challenges. I feel like it's hard to maintain balance for you at the present moment, or it's hard for you to show up to the world in the way that you want. And it's hard to think clearly at the present moment because it's almost like, I mean, you could be stagnating. I feel maybe a little bit of frustration for some of you. I feel also some of you being a little worn out. There's just something here, this tired, foggy energy. And I feel like you're not as connected with your, so as I've said, like a king or a queen in a better position or in a more positive position would be seen as having a strength. I feel like clarity of thinking is a strength that you have, but it's not like, because it's in a challenge position, I really feel like that's something that's challenging for you at this time. And we all have those moments. Even the clearest of thinkers are going to come into moments where it's, where, that's so interesting. I don't know how to share that. We're going to come into moments where things aren't going to be clear and you have to adjust your internal compass in order to realign with your original intentions. And Spirit is telling me you came in contact with germs. I feel like this could be physical, but it really, the metaphorical symbol that they're saying to me is that, you know, if you come into contact with germs, what do? You wash your hands with soap and water, which takes time. And sometimes we may not realize that our hands get super dirty. Sometimes we don't realize that our energy is too clogged up with all the fog and with all of the stuff going on. But Spirit is telling you to take some time out to cleanse so that you can kind of wipe away these germs and you can start thinking a little bit more clearly. That does involve taking the deep dive, clearing out that energy, and really sorting through your feelings. What's going to make your life easier? And what is the way forward at this time? Before I even got into your energy, I knew immediately what the Four of Pentacles was. This is keeping conservative with your energy. So making sure that you are turning your attention to, make sure you have your resources available for yourself first. You really need to be conservative. Say no if you have to. Have those boundaries, because the Four of Pentacles is about being stingy. So, but like they're telling me, be stingy with your energy. Make sure that you are giving yourself the appropriate time to do this work. Make sure that you are spending it wisely, because again, temperance is also a balance issue, and it's your it's in your challenging position. So some of you are just juggling too many things, or some of you just sometimes you might not even have a lot to do, but it feels like a lot to do because of how your inner world is happening right now, Taurus. So keep that in mind. Another thing that's going to make your life easier, or what the way forward is you have the Ace of Pentacles here, and Spirit is saying you have a gift and a talent, and you have to be strong. It's annoying to hear, but some of you have to be strong, and making it through this cloudy situation, I feel like, I'm not going to say like you've been for worse and thus it sucks less. That's not what I'm saying. But sometimes we need to claim that power a little bit. They're stepping, sorry, that's my ferret. My ferrets are out and about, and they're stepping all over this green foil. I do feel like they're kind of, Spirits, oh, this is Coda, by the way. If you're looking at the camera, this is my cute little Coda cub. He likes to cuddle and he loves my attention, so he's just kind of hanging around waiting for me to be done. But I really feel like, I mean, this is like a very bright green foil that my ferret was stepping on, and I feel like Spirit's kind of saying, like, I'm seeing someone point, like, that's important. So I really feel like there is, like, the more traditional meaning of the Ace of Pentacles is having a new opportunity come to you, and, like, really embracing a new beginning, a new financial opportunity. Go play, baby. Embracing a new financial opportunity, really getting into your groove. But again, like, the way forward is to sort through your conflict, and kind of, some of you could be sorting through your conflict by just taking an opportunity. I'm not going to say skip over doing the work. Not doing the work doesn't always look like sitting in self-reflection. It doesn't always look like that. Some of us think it does, but it's not always sitting there journaling. It's not always about meditation. Sometimes we're just sitting there for too long and we need to make a choice, and sometimes making certain decisions gets us back on track. So for some of you, kind of keeping note of what you're worth. Trying to remember your worth is going to help you take the proper opportunities. I just feel like something's going to be presented to you. It's going to make you feel a little excited, or maybe you just got like divine inspiration. You came up with this idea or a way of making, like, a new way of making money, or just some surprise or some new financial gain or some type of gain that benefits you in the long run, that you're like, this is going to make my life easier. I just feel like this could be an external thing, or it's something that capitalizes on your talents. So you have, for your oracle cards, you have Squirrel Spirit, believe in yourself. So really acknowledge your growth and how strong you are. Spirit just keeps saying how strong you are. They just keep using the word strong, you are strong. And that just seems to be like an echoing factor throughout, like, towards like the second half of this reading, and they just won't like calm down with it. The greatest strength sometimes comes from the gentlest hearts that have experienced the greatest trials. And honestly, sometimes you gotta put yourself up on a pedestal, and you have to proclaim the truth that I am strong. And some of you really have to embody this energy. Spirit is literally saying beef up. And it's not like, maybe, I don't think it's like a physical thing. I guess it could be, but for some of you, this is, don't, like, if you're, I want to be careful how I word this. I don't want to say, like, I don't want to word it like, don't be too sensitive, because that's rude. And that's not, like, Spirit's exact words. The sentiment here is filled with so much love and so much empowerment. Like, I'm not sure how to, like, convey it properly, but it's almost like Spirit is saying, once you recognize your strength, once you recognize how strong you are, everything else is going to get easier. Because it's stuff that you can brush off your shoulder. There are energies that you might be getting involved in that are simply just little specks of dust or little bugs on your shoulder that you're so strong, you can literally just go, and like shoo it away. So I think that's, I don't know, I just think that's important to consider. You have mouse spirit, tend to the small things. Okay, some of you are just tired of work. Some of you are just like, or some of you do have a lot on your plate. There's something here about just being overwhelmed with work for one reason or another, overwhelmed with maybe your day-to-day tasks or your routines. The mouse spirit, it says tend to the small things, but it also came out in reverse, which these cards don't normally come out in reverse. The protection message here is that you're putting too much effort into everything else and you're not spending enough time focusing on yourself, or there's a reluctance to turn back and focus on some of the things that we're missing. I use this example all the time about how, I don't know why I use this example because it's gross, but let's say that you always brush your teeth and then like all of a sudden you just stopped brushing your teeth because you're like, I just don't have time for that. But you start to feel the difference and you try to ignore it, but it's there in you, bothering you, messing up your day. I know that does for me. I don't know if it does for any of you, but that's just the example that I like to use, and that's kind of the feeling that I'm getting here, is that there's something that's been neglected, that started to get neglected, and turning your attention back to those things will help you kind of clear out some of this clutter and help you clear up some of that internal conflict that you're feeling. It'll help make your shadow work, or whatever this facing yourself type of energy is, it'll make it a lot easier. You have luck is on your side. New moon is Sagittarius. Oh, I love this card. Not only because I'm a sun Sag, but I just love that, Sagittariuses are very goal-oriented. They're very nomadic and they love their freedom. And, when they shoot their bow and arrow, they're aiming for a goal, or they're reaching for just a general point in the sky. And they're like, I'm going to hit my mark. I always use that as an example. But I really feel like for this energy that you will make it work. I mean, especially with the Ace of Pentacles being like the next step, or what they go, the next, like what's happening next for you, like the way forward for you, like really taking that opportunity. The more opportunities you take, the luckier you'll be. And it's actually in my pouch hanging on my lanyard, but I keep getting a bunny spirit, which is, or like the rabbit spirit, which is like this spirit that says luck is on your side. And I just felt compelled. Spirit is kind of telling me to share the little fortune. Months ago, I put a fortune in my wallet on my lanyard, and I just decided to take it out yesterday, and I was like, what is this? Because I'm like, I can't fit something in here. So I was like, what the heck is in here? And I pulled it out, and it was one of those little fortune cookies that you get from those Asian restaurants when they pass out those little cookies. And the inside it said, luck is a byproduct of, I can't remember the exact words, but they said luck is a byproduct of, or no, luck is what, I'm just going to say luck is a byproduct of what happens when you bust your fanny. And something about that, I think it was just a synchronous, like a synchronistic time that I got the message, and I was like, oh, this is so cute. I don't even know the context of why it's in there or when I put it in there, but I just found it hilarious that I pulled it out right as I pulled the rabbit spirit of like, this is a lucky time. So spirit is saying like, so long as you put in the effort and so long as you put out the energy and you take opportunities, luck will always find you, because you are always putting yourself out there for luck to find you. Some people say that like, oh, you can't be this, or you can't be successful, you can't be famous, you can't be a musician, you can't be this or that if you're not lucky. And that's just not true. A lot, like, yeah, you are getting lucky, but if you're consistently putting yourself out there, you will get increasingly more lucky, because there are more opportunities for you to be noticed. You know what I mean? So that's just, take that into consideration. My ferret's trying to climb. He thinks he's getting lucky. I don't know what he's doing. He's trying to, I put up my bed along the wall, and they like to scale it like it's a mountain, and then they like sliding down on their bellies. And my ferret's trying to see how high he can climb, and I'm like, I'm not sure how you're gonna get down. But anyway, fun ferret story aside, we have the end of a tough cycle approaches full moon in Capricorn. So full moons are always, they're always a pretty emotional time. Again, I really do feel like you're focusing on your emotions at this time. You're really sorting out your inner conflict, and it's just been very tough for you. I feel like your outer world has been very tough. And I feel like that's coming to a close. That's Spirit's assurance that things are coming to a close. I'm getting the sense that there's another message with this card, so I'm actually going to flip the book on it to scan it and make sure that I'm getting everything, because I want to make sure I send you off with everything. Spirit's like, there's something else in this card, but like the way that it's like the way that the energy is pointing, I'm like, let me just look at the book to be sure. Okay, so additional meanings for this card is a professional project may be ending now, or admit you have been overly hard-headed or hard-nosed, or find a balance between your personal and private lives, or it's time to stop fearing the worst. Capricorn has a strong work ethic and energy, and it'll more than likely come up when you're asking a professional question. You don't have to be, but just the guidance with this card. If your question is about another matter, it will serve as a much needed reminder to move through any feelings of hopelessness you may have been feeling about your situation, and this applies no matter when you draw the card. Making a plan is a far better use of your time. So, let me roll the dice for you real quick, Taurus, and see if the angels have anything else for you. Anything else to say before we send you on your way? 117, pulling from Angel Numbers by Kyle Gray, as usual. Love, love, love this book. Love it as an oracle. 117. Your angels are waiting for you to make your intentions clear. Get clear about what you want. What did I just say? Was that you? Yes. What are you after? What are you after? Oh my God. Okay. Literally, Spirit was like, I said what I said and I meant it. Read it again. So your angels are waiting for you to make your intentions clear. Get clear about what you want. There you have it, Taurus. I can't get any more clear than that. I said what I said. So thank you, Taurus, so much for joining me in this message. Thank you for letting me read for you. Thank you to your guides, your angel teams, whoever you called in from the other side. My guides, my spirit energies, thank you so much for allowing me to connect this energy. Reading is always such a joy for me. Again, if you like my stuff, go ahead, like, subscribe, comment, blah, 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 blah. Let me know how this resonates. Keep an eye out for my Patreon, other stuff, yada, yada. You know the whole spiel. I don't know why I'm giving it again, but I get on my spiritual high every time I'm like done reading for people, and I'm like, oh, this is so lovely. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Have the best week.